Greg Wells, my good friend, and if you look him up, you'll know that he's a professor at the University of Toronto, now retired because he's no longer an exercise physiologist, but a thought leader and an expert in human health and wellness. So
here we are.
You taught at the University of Toronto. You're on permanent sabbatical at this year's.
Well, I've retired from the university, which is crazy. But what I've discovered is that I love to translate science for people. So I like to take the studies and deconstruct them and then give people tools, tactics, and strategies that they can implement in their lives easily to improve their health and wellness. And that's what I think I'm better at than being a prof, actually. So
it is being a prof. What are you saying?
Being a prof for everybody,
book. So what's your newest book?
So the newest book is called Powerhouse. It's the 5th one, which is crazy. If you told my grade 8 teacher that I would write 5 books, he probably would have fainted and had a mild heart attack. But we're 5 books in, and the latest one's called Powerhouse.
Hey, so would my English teacher who keeps giving me B pluses, and I'm on to my 3rd, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they get easier, don't they? Right? They get easier.
We learn about how to communicate. And what this one's all about is about breath. So using your breath properly around energy, because we've got these little structures called mitochondria that can help us have more energy. And then how to thrive, because so many people have been struggling lately. I really want to help people get out of languishing and back into flourishing.
I have done a few talks since COVID's kind of really gone in terms of a pandemic. And you have now done apparently 53 countries. So that's at least 53 talks, if not more.
It's a lot.
How many people have you interacted with?
I think that since I started actively doing this, which I really began public speaking after the 2010 Olympics, I think I've probably spoken to almost 1 million people now. So like directly in audiences and through books and, social and other things. I'm trying to hit as many people, not hit, but like touch as many people's lives positively as I can, and hopefully give people really actionable things that make a difference for them.
So I think that COVID, given that my last book right now is We're Not Okay, is that we're now struggling with long COVID. We're struggling with the lack of social wellness because people are learning how to work at home and being fully isolated. And do they attend your talks now in person?
Right now what I'm seeing is when people actually get into the room, they're so happy to be there.
Yes.
They're so happy to see their colleagues. They're so happy to have the energy of a group. Now, of course, there's some people that are still not comfortable, and I'm totally okay with that. Like, that's fine. Everyone's got a different range of their comfort, given that we're re-engaging. But what's really emerging is that there's a difference between solitude and loneliness.
Yeah.
And when you choose solitude, that's totally fine because you're making the decision to be alone, to get stuff done, or just to be by yourself. And we all need that time.
Like when we write a book.
Exactly, right? Like when you're just like journaling or you're recharging or listening to music or binge watching some stuff on Netflix, which happens. It's okay to have that solitude. But what's not okay is loneliness.
Yes.
And even in an era when we are hyper connected via our devices, loneliness is higher than it has been. And that's really what hurts us so much, which we want to really try to help people with.
And with our telomere stories, because we used to do that with my first book, is that the telomeres is the tips of your chromosomes, which shorten with age. And the only thing that helps to recover them so that you live a longer, healthier life is life purpose and interactions with people, right? And I think that this is a huge problem with groups and companies now to re-engage staff to come back to the office. They're fully disjointed. So I am saying to people that we need to start doing workshops together again and teaching people how to relate to each other from a social perspective, emotional perspective, and a physical perspective. So what's in your 3 tips that you give to workshop people right now?
Well, what we're really trying to figure out is how to help people come back together again, because we were separated, and legitimately so. We needed to do what we needed to do. But now that we're through this pandemic, we need to move forwards and rebuild that sense of community. And there's very good research that shows that social connection is a greater predictor of longevity than quitting drinking, quitting smoking, doing cardiac rehab, and all those sorts of things.
But it's all still important.
Got it. They're all very important. We want to do those things. Obviously, you don't want to smoke. But that's how powerful social connection is.
Because we're proving it now. Because mental health or mental illness issues have skyrocketed since COVID.
The biggest mental health challenge that we're faced with at the moment is burnout.
Yeah. I don't know if it's totally
exhaustion.
burnout. I don't believe it's totally burnout.
What do you think it is?
I think you get burnout because you have lost the capacity and the knowledge of how to manage the workload and the stress. Because when you're at work and you're with colleagues, you work through the problems together and not by yourself. So when you're by yourself, socially isolated, and you're spinning and then you text people for solutions, and people don't answer you or they just give you a two-liner, then you're still stuck with the same problem and you're churning by yourself. So the burnout to me partly is because there's no social supports.
Interesting. It's also curious that people have different perspectives on that. And that people who are naturally introverted are thrilled by the fact that they are alone, and people who are naturally extroverted really struggle when they can't get that live interaction. And so out of all of this that we're learning, I think that it's important for us to identify who's on our dream team. Like, who are the 5 people that we want to be actually spending more time with?
Yeah, probably the sales team much more, creative team.
Whoever it is in your life that you need to be with professionally, who are those 5 people that you're going to deliberately spend more time with, who are going to elevate your life? Identify those people, book the walks, book the phone calls, book the dinners, book the coffees, like whatever it is that you need to do to actually connect with those people. That's one way of elevating your life. Similarly, on the personal side, who are the 5 people that elevate you on your personal life, that support you unconditionally, that love you unconditionally, that you can just relax and have fun with? That's 10 people. And if you add those people to your life in the next 6 months in a deliberate way, in a way that all of you are elevating, right? You're elevating everyone else just as much as they're elevating you. That's what I think is actionable, that people can actually do, that will make a tangible difference in their ability to hang out, like us, right?
Yeah.
Like, we always come up with cool ideas when we hang out.
Yes, so that's your 10 friends, and I'm reconnecting with this one. Greg, you and I are going to start some things in the new year because he's still on a plane booked, but I will book him in the new year and watch for the 2 of us to do events at 1 Yorkville.